Hey everybody, Beyond Drew TV here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new habitat speed build video here in Planet Zoo. So for today's habitat speed build video, we're going to go ahead and tackle a Bengal tiger habitat. So for this habitat, we're going to go ahead and do similarly to what we've done in the past, where this isn't just going to be one, small habitat or one large habitat by itself. We're actually going to be doing kind of an entire area there. So this is coming from some concept art that I found, kind of Googling around there. Actually, it came from, I was trying to find an Indian elephant habitat to kind of mirror after or just kind of look after and stuff like that. And in the process of doing that, I somehow stumbled upon a Pinterest photo of, I'll throw them up here, but there's two Pinterest photos I found, and it kind of shifted my entire attention from Indian elephant to the Bengal tigers that we're doing today for their habitat and stuff like that. And the poor Indian elephants, I think I've mentioned since literally like the first habitat speed build video, the Garial that we did, that was like, oh, we're gonna do Indian elephants next, and that was like what, 2 months ago. So those poor Indian elephants, one day we'll get them a habitat there one day. So but yeah, no, this is again coming from the main inspiration for these is coming from two concept images that really resonated with me, or I really liked a lot. So I kind of wanted to implement them, kind of push them together basically into one habitat. So the idea for this giant, I guess, area, this giant themed area is it's kind of a trail. So it's going to be a, I think I officially call it like the Bengal Tiger Trail or the Tiger Trail or something like that. But I don't put any official names on anything, any signs or anything like that, because I am putting this on the workshop. So I do want it to be a little bit open. So if you want to rename something or, put your own signage up, you can definitely do that. So yeah, again, the idea is that this is going to be a kind of a trail that weaves in and out of a really deep, Asian jungle there, and it kind of eventually leads to a temple where you can kind of enter in and look at the Bengal tiger. So the Bengal tiger's habitat is just on the outside area of this this kind of ancient temple. We kind of sprinkle around little temples here and there as well throughout the jungle. So you get a little bit of this backstory going with some lore of like some Indian temples, and again we build a custom big Indian temple where the Bengal tiger habitat is and stuff like that. So we get some really neat vantage points and views and just little bits of story and lore there as we're kind of going through this build. So the first thing here that we're doing, and the first little bit from the concept art that I wanted to recreate, was this really cool looking, it's a fish tank, so obviously we're kind of have to use our imaginations here, but yeah, just kind of a big kind of fish tank attached to this kind of rock wall area here. And I started to see a lot more people do it. Specifically, the person I've seen doing it a lot is Estan Wolf there, kind of making these makeshift kind of aquariums, or I know he did a beaver habitat for his real life. So why am I blanking on the name of it? I keep wanting to call it Coal Creek Zoo, but that's a combination of Coal Creek Park, which was my very first park and Planet Coaster I ever built. Oh my gosh, it's Reedy Creek. Oh, he's gonna kill me, but it's something like that. Anyways, in his zoo, it's all about creeks and using water and stuff like that for the most part in a realistic way. And yeah, he's been doing some of these really cool sort of aquariums there with the habitats. So yeah, I thought it'd be really cool to kind of start off doing that there, and it turned out really well. I'm going to be implementing this into Thornton Hills Zoo and other little projects that are coming down the pipeline and stuff. But kind of implementing these kind of smaller side exhibits, and a lot of times you'll see them as here we're using fish. Sometimes they'll just be plants in like water and stuff like that, or just like a plant exhibit by itself. So I'm just kind of wanting to reuse this idea of smaller exhibits rather than all everything being a big exhibit. And sure, we do have these small exhibit boxes in the game that we can use, but those are really limiting. I wish we could just kind of do something like you're seeing me build right here, or again like what Estan and others have kind of built, where there are these really tiny little just exhibits that maybe just have some fish in them, or maybe it has literally like a chameleon in it, just or some really small animal that doesn't need a grandiose large habitat or exhibit at all. And we can kind of spruce it up like this. So I hope one day we can kind of get something, instead of using our imaginations, we can actually build something like what you're seeing in front here, and put the whoa, random cough for the win, and put animals in there and stuff like that. So but yeah, continuing on with the build, we kind of wrap up the the little aquarium there, and just to kind of make that look a little bit better, we put some dead trees in there and stuff like that. We use the in-game long grass for the terrain brush. We make the long grass in there as well. Use some of the elephant grass, I believe it is as well, to try and give the effect of, you know, it's like a lake bottom, and there's, you know, there's a lot of grasses and stuff. So I think it turned out really well. And again, yeah, just to reiterate, I'm gonna try and use that in more builds in the future. So right here we're kind of building on just a little lake right here. And going forward until we get to kind of building on the temples and stuff, a lot of the next little bit is going to be kind of building with water and foliage and just a lot of landscaping for the most part. A lot of this build is heavy just landscaping and foliage work. And that's just because, you know, again, we're kind of taking that deep jungle theme and kind of running with it. And yeah, just a lot of the way that works together is just kind of using a lot of the tropical biome plants and foliage and stuff like that, and a lot of tropical rocks. And eventually we're going to start building on a pretty big waterfall here and stuff like that. So yeah, to kind of help yourself out if you're kind of building, you know, a tropical kind of biome and you're kind of it's not coming along how you want it to. Don't forget that you can filter out all of the plants except for tropical plants if you would like to, and that goes for the other biomes as well. If you could look on the screen there, the little I'm trying to look what it is, right to the right of the heart that's the filter button on the on the screen there. I'm really descriptive. But anyways, yeah, there's a filter out section there, and you can put on just tropical, or, you know, tropical and desert and stuff like that, and then you'll be just stuck with the trees that are only in the tropical biome. So that's kind of an easier way, so you're not scrolling through the menu you know, all day, all night trying to find the right trees and stuff like that. And don't forget to also favorite a set of trees as well, and you can unfavorite and favorite very easy as you're selecting items. It's in the upper right hand corner of the picture of the items in the menu. I know myself and others will do this a lot if we're doing a palette of trees. So let's say you're starting a new area, like a North American area, or sure, a tropical area, and you only want to use, you know, 6 or 7 or 5 or 6 different trees in your build, and that is it. To kind of, you know, just help limit yourself so you don't go kind of crazy with foliage. Using that little heart is a great way to do it, because that's going to throw everything to the favorites category, and then that's if you just go into your favorites category, that's all that will be there, and it'll kind of help to kind of rein you in, kind of keep everything level with your foliage and your foliage palette and everything there. So yeah, but as we're moving on here, we're starting to work on our second little lake here, second little area, and that's going to be a big old waterfall. We're using a lot of techniques that I did in a tutorial video of how to create streams and rapids and waterfalls without using the in-game water. And yeah, we're going to use a lot of the water particle effects to make this pretty lavish, pretty lush waterfall area right here, and get really, really great vista views of it. And yeah, it just really comes together. And it's funny with this kind of thing here, a lot of this build here, I keep thinking that it's not coming together. I'm like, these rocks just kind of look like crap, you know, by themselves. Like, maybe once I add the water, it'll start to come together and look a little bit better. And then as I was adding the water, I was like, no, it's just really not coming together. And that just goes to show how effective foliage is, because right when I started adding the greenery and some of the flowers and the tropical foliage and everything, that's right when it came together. So point being of that is just, if you are, that goes for buildings as well and stuff like that. If you look at your square box and you're just like, wow, that's a square effing box. I see it all the time. Keep at that square box, or, you know, keep at that rock cluster, because it's usually, or sometimes it doesn't, your build won't come together until that very last step sometimes. So yeah, just keep working at a build. I come across it all the time. I do it all the time as well, where something that probably could have been really, really nice, I'll scrap it in the first step, because wow, look at that, you know, concrete square box I made. That's crap. Or yeah, look at this rock pile I threw together with water shooting out of it. No, that's bad. But no, just keep working at it, keep plugging at it. You know, it's building is a layered process, so it's always going to start looking, you know, like a blank canvas, you know, and then eventually it's going to start to look a little bit better, but it might not be there. But just keep at it, and eventually, you know, as you can kind of see here, it's already starting to sort of come together. Sometimes it just needs that extra element that maybe you haven't added yet, or that step that you haven't quite gotten to quite yet. And speaking of that, the right across from this waterfall area, speaking of, items bringing something together. Yeah, right across from this waterfall area, it's completely empty and open right here, and I had no idea what I wanted to do with it basically. And as I was searching, we should come up to that section here hopefully soon, but as I was searching through the construction menu, I literally found one Indian like temple that is pre-built in game, plopped it down, and it really tied together the whole area and made it look like this kind of ancient, like almost Tomb Raider kind of area there. I think maybe a lot of you saw it on either Reddit or my Instagram or Discord and stuff like that, because yeah, the picture that came out of it, or the setting that came out of it, was one of my favorites in the game that I've gotten so far. I shared a screenshot, and I'm probably gonna put it up around here-ish. I hope I remember. I'm sure I will. I'm gonna throw it up here. Yeah, I got one of my favorite screenshots probably that I've ever taken in a video game ever, and it really was pretty low effort as far as like putting that scene together. Again, that Indian temple was kind of already pre-built there in the game, so I just kind of plopped it down, kind of tilted it on its side like it'd been there for a while, built up the foliage around it, made it rain, you know, and then used Ansel to edit it in game. And if you don't know what Ansel is, I know a lot of people ask me whenever I post like a screenshot, they're like, wow, how do you get your screenshots to look like that? Are you you know, doing post-production stuff? I was like, not really. It's all Ansel, and yeah, again, if you don't know Ansel, it's Alt and F2 together, and it will bring up a in-game photo editor, and that's called Ansel there. And yeah, you can go through and start to mess around with it. There's a whole bunch of different editing with it. Jonty from Geekism, he was the original one to throw me onto it, and I think pretty much everyone in the Planet community, he pretty much led us all onto that in the beta days. But yeah, you can just get some amazing photos out of it. So yeah, again, I was just really surprised how that photo and that scene just kind of came together with literally, here it just come together right here. It literally came together with just, you know, one scenery piece pre-built in game, tilted it on its side, and then putting the correct or kind of natural foliage up around it, making it rain, and then editing in an Ansel, and then bam, there you go. So some of the, you know, sometimes you don't have to do the most super complicated builds in game for it to, you know, for a scene to kind of start to come together and everything there. So, but yeah, after this little bit here, we're going to start to build on our ancient temple there. And for the ancient temple, we went ahead and used some of the Indian blocks that are in game. And yeah, we built a Indian temple by hand, basically using the Indian blocks, and I feel like that was kind of the bulk of the video. I had to cut out a lot of it because the first rendition of the big Indian temple that we're going to get to here in just a minute, it was way too big. It might have worked for, oh, here we go, where I'm actually going through and editing the photo right here. So, but yeah, the first rendition of it, I made it like a literal Indian temple size, like IRL, and not like zoo size or theme park size. So kind of had to go back and redo that a little bit. But yeah, anyways, it kind of came together really nicely, and yeah, I really like how the final product for this little temple kind of came out. Now, to be honest with you, this little interior, this little bit that we're building here, past the temple, I kind of left a lot of the interior part of it open for you to go ahead and do what you want to it. In the past, I've kind of gussied up interiors and kind of flushed them out theme-wise and stuff like that. And I decided to not do that this time, just because I want to kind of leave it more open for you once you download it to kind of do what you want to it, to kind of make it fit into your own zoo or your own build a little bit better there. So, but yeah, speaking of the you know, building on your own, again, this is going to be a blueprint for you to download if you would like to there. So check the pinned comment or the description. I'm sure it's going to be all over the place. Go ahead and download this, and yeah, if you do put this in your zoo, I would love to see how it looks in the zoo. So if you're not already, be sure to head on over and follow me on Twitter there. I always put my Twitter link in the description and usually in the pinned comment, but my Twitter handle's at BeyondDrewTV. But tag me in it. I want to see how it looks in your zoo, and that goes for any of the kind of builds, or you know, if I release other blueprints, definitely tag me in those. I always love to see how you know, y'all use this in your zoos, because this is just a one-off build for me, you know, so I don't really throw this in my zoo or anything. Usually it's just saved as a file that I've built, and I usually don't go back to it. So yeah, I know some of the files I posted in the past have gotten, you know, a couple thousand downloads and stuff like that. So yeah, again, just I'd love to see you know, where that has ended up in your zoo and how it looks. So you know, send me a picture or tag me on Twitter there or wherever, and let me see how it turned out there. So and yeah, I hope the blueprint does fit well and turn out well for everyone. I know in the past, a few of the blueprints, especially ones that deal with water, when you plop them in, for whatever reason, the terrain saving for the blueprint can get really kind of messed up, a little funky there, I guess. So yeah, sometimes the water levels can be all over the place. Sometimes the terrain is going to look kind of funky. So if it does do that, I do apologize. I'm not there's not really anything I can do about it, because I'm literally saving the blueprint as I have done it in game, and when I'm building on it and doing it, it's, you know, it's pretty much perfect. It's to how I want it to be. But yeah, for whatever reason, when it gets transferred over to y'all there, it sometimes can get messed up. So if it does do that, I do apologize. Sometimes you can just, you know, take the water out and re-put it back in, and that'll do it. Or you might just have to do some small terrain editing and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully overall it does work out for you there. And yeah, here we are starting to build the actual habitat. The last little bit of the video there is going to be the actual building of the habitat. And again, reiterating from the first part of the video where I showed off that concept art, tried to do the same kind of ideas that they had in the concept art, using a lot of the trying to make a like overgrown temple feel to it. So kind of got that for the most part. To be honest with you, I probably could have spent a little bit more time on it, but I'm just really excited to kind of get this all out to you. And it's pretty much, it's one of those things where it's done enough, you know, and if I wanted to, I could have spent another like week, or not week, but a few days on it. And but it was done enough. It was good to go. But yeah, just took a lot of ideas from that original concept art there, of kind of making the somewhat abandoned kind of temple feel to it, with the roots kind of growing throughout the interior and the habitat and everything. And but yeah, no, after that little bit there, the rest of the habitat is pretty, I guess you'd say, cut and dry of what you would expect for a Bengal tiger habitat. We give them we get one Bengal tiger, just the one male, I believe it is. We get them a nice rock hardcover terrain and everything like that for them to sleep in, and they have a nice lake to swim in. He loves the lake. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect him to be swimming throughout the lake. But all the welfare stats are 100%. Everything for his terrain is 100%. So for those of you that like to play, you know, with the franchise mode, or just like to keep all the welfare stats on, I did make sure to go ahead and make sure the welfare is good to go and everything there for the tiger. So you're not going to plop him in there and he's gonna be like, oh, I don't have any room and I don't have any. No, it's all good to go. All good to go there. So the only thing I don't include with this, because when I do build these, I turn off the electricity and water and all that. So there's no utilities or anything included with it. So you will need to put in the water purification and electricity if you are playing with those gameplay elements on there. So, but yeah, no, overall, that kind of pretty much wraps up. There's just a few more minutes left with the video there. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you to it. We'll put on some groovy tunes there, man. Probably just some like jungle inspired music or whatever. But yeah, no, go ahead and enjoy the rest of the music and enjoy the rest of the time lapse. And don't forget, go ahead and download this down below and comment on it and let me know what you're thinking of it there. And yeah, don't forget, tag me in on Twitter there at BeyondDrewTV, so I can see where this is going in your zoo and how it's turning out and everything. And yeah, hey, until the next habitat speed build video, yeah, what are we gonna do next? I'm gonna say Indian elephant every single time. I'm gonna say Indian elephant until we actually build the Indian elephant. So yeah, hopefully we'll get another one of those out kind of soon, because again, I don't have Thornton Hills Zoo right now. Mr. Mike Sheets has Thornton Hills Zoo, as he is continuing his garden rescue on it. So hopefully we'll get that back in the next week or two, or however long it takes. I'm not putting any pressure on him whatsoever. I want him to do what he's gonna do, and get a great result out of it there. So hopefully we'll get Thornton Hills Zoo back in just a little bit. But in the meantime, like I said, we're gonna be doing some more habitat speed build videos just like this one. We have Buxton Zoo, which hasn't been revealed quite yet, but that's a collaboration between myself and another awesome content creator. So that's going to be coming out later this week as well. Been working on that slowly but surely behind the scenes. So again, even though we don't have our main zoo, our main Thornton Hills Zoo right now, we're still going to be getting content out for you. So, definitely keep your eyes peeled on the channel here. And if it is your first time, you've heard me ramble on this long, you better be hitting that subscribe button there. Go ahead and hang out with us for a little bit there. So hit the subscribe button there, and also hit the like button. Helps out the video, gives the channel more exposure and everything. So, hey, thanks so much, everyone. I always do appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy the last few minutes here of the habitat speed build video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.